Hey guys, it's a looks like a bit of an interesting Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday, maybe it's Monday, but here we are. We had talked a little bit about the Tom King, Jae Lee hate group situation before. There was some developments over the weekend. I held off on doing a video on it. I felt like I should do another video on it, but I didn't want to because, quite frankly, I thought something happened on a Friday. And when people get back into office, something else would happen. They would assess the situation, especially with some developments that happened with Jae Lee's dog and whatnot. And it was weird because the statement Tom King had made seemed like it had legal issues with it because, one, there's no proof that he's part of an organization, which he had said Comicsgate. There's really no evidence, and never has Comicsgate been dubbed a hate group either by the FBI or any agency. So calling it these things and bringing in DC Comics within the same tweet seemed very damning. But let me go through everything in one video if I can. I'm going to do this super quick, though. I really don't want to get tied up into this too much. So the original tweet from Tom King here, I think this maybe came out on a Friday. Tom King says, today DC put out an alternative cover to Rorschach by Jae Lee, who has also done covers for Comicsgate, a hate group. It's a bit of a problem there, Tom. DC does not consult creators on alternate covers. I reached out to them to express my deep disappointment. Far as I'm concerned, this is the cover to Rorschach 1. So I want to touch on this for a second. People don't usually reach out on alternate covers to the writers or even the pencilers of the book because alternate covers are not usually story driven. They're usually there for the variant cover collector market, and usually the people collecting variant covers, this is a little secret to people that maybe don't understand this. They maybe don't even crack the book to read it, as sad as that is. So when people say they don't like variants, there's a reason. Those are people buying books that aren't reading books. So it's very odd to go seek approval for variant covers from a person writing a book, and the market on variant covers are people that are not reading the book. Variant covers are kind of an outreach program for people who don't know, to try to siphon in an audience that maybe was never picking up the book. So, and it's kind of there for a collector's market, to be honest. Ever since trades came along, variants seem to have ratcheted up for a reason, because single issues don't hold the value they used to because of trade markets. Of course, if a character has a first appearance in a single issue, that still holds true, but the standard Avengers whatever issue or X-Men whatever issue that you just needed to read a story doesn't hold a lot of value per se because of things like digital and trades. That's the skinny on alternate covers if you're a casual comic reader and you don't understand why they didn't seek his approval. His approval wasn't sought after because we're talking about a market that really has nothing to do with the guts. So that was the statement he wrote. Yes, he had done a cover for Cyberfrog for Ethan Van Sciver, 2 covers. Blood Honey, which everybody should go check out. It's still in demand if you want. Vote with your dollars, people. Jae Lee had done 2 covers for Cyberfrog, but Jae Lee had also in the 90s done a cover for Cyberfrog. So there's a bit of a continuity here of why Jae Lee would, or why Ethan Van Sciver would have even reached out to him. If you want to look at it another way too, there was a bit of a cancellation cover with Sean Gordon Murphy on Bigfoot Bill 2, where he had done a cover for Doug TenNapel. This had happened months ago, maybe 4 months ago, maybe 6, who knows. Sean had he looked up to Doug TenNapel and did a variant cover for his Indiegogo project Bigfoot Bill. And there was a bit of an outcry over it, that he was even in the same stratosphere as Doug TenNapel. And Sean pulled the cover quickly when there was an outlash. In a lot of ways, I feel like this was a bit of the same play here. I'm not so sure what. A lot of people called this, he was trying to cancel Jae Lee. I'm not sure what Tom King's intentions were to come out of this. But a few hours later, he had said, I spoke with Jay. He's not on Twitter. Didn't know Comicsgate existed and doesn't support hate of any kind. We're all good, best possible outcome. This struck me odd as this is somebody speaking for another grown man. I find it hard that, Jae Lee isn't on Twitter, but when you're a comic artist, Twitter's not really a visual platform. It's a lot of snarky people. It's not the best place to post artwork. So I guess Jae Lee responded to Tom King a few days later. I'm going to breeze through this. I didn't want to do a video on this because I felt it was too personal. But it's all related to this, so I'm going to go through this. We're going to get to, the news of today here in a second. Jae Lee to Tom King, we're not all good. So let me get down. Okay, 2 weeks ago, June and I took Loki to San Diego to see a specialist. Loki would be Jae Lee's dog. He did not survive due to complications from surgery. This past Friday was supposed to be a day of mourning. We were back in San Diego to pick up his ashes. We were going to take him to the beach and comfort each other by sharing our favorite stories about our little boy. I'm assuming he didn't say here they were actually going to spread his ashes at the beach. San Diego has some awesome beaches, guys. If you've never been, they're out of this world. Instead, a part of the internet I avoid like the plague came barging in. I had companies I'm working for calling me, friends reaching out to me. I'm seeing hate pouring out of strangers' mouths, accusing me of things I have no knowledge of. I'm seeing firsthand how fast lies are spreading. Let me be clear, I'm not part of any group. We never made it to the beach. We spent an entire 6-hour drive back home on an emotional roller coaster. I'm writing this because I'm angry. These irresponsible tweets are not harmless. They do not just go away. They have real-world consequences. They can take away your job, your life, your memories. June and I were robbed of a special day, so no, we're not all good. This isn't the start of a conversation. This is the end. So please don't drag me into a world I never wanted to be part of, nor will I ever want to be part of. I want to honor Loki going back to producing art made with love for people who enjoy it for what it is. Something that hopefully brings joy into their lives. Mommy and Daddy miss you so very much, Loki, our love. So this, besides the dog stuff, which is Jay's stuff, I didn't even want to read this before, but to me, the takeaway here is Jay saying we're not all good. This also doesn't seem like Jay and Tom really spoke. And the other reason I bring this up is Jae Lee's on Instagram, and it's very disturbing how all this rolled out for Jay, and it's super unfortunate that it went onto a platform that Tom King was on. He didn't go to Instagram where the person is you're accusing of, what Tom King was accusing him of. So he basically, I don't like to use the word shadow ban, but he tried to bring up an argument and debate that could do a lot of harm to Jae Lee in a place that Jae Lee wasn't. That's that's not good. I don't know. It's not a very plus. I think I've covered this before, but Tom King went around Jae Lee. He went around. He didn't go confront Jae Lee. He went straight to editorial, which is in Tom King's original tweet. And then from there, he went from editorial to Twitter. He didn't go to Jae Lee. He didn't talk to Jae Lee about it. And a lot of people call that dragging. Public execution on your platform for virtue points. It can be called a lot of things. So, but this is what the video is about. Let's talk about today. Today, Tom King writes at 3:14, as I have done privately, I'd like to publicly apologize to Jae Lee for my actions a few days ago. I'm going to stop there. Well, first, you didn't really confront Jae Lee privately. You confronted Jae Lee publicly in front of your whatever 110,000 Twitter followers. So, like, I don't understand why, you have to start off as I have done privately. As far as you set the tone for this, you've done everything about this publicly. As I have done privately, I'd like to publicly apologize to Jae Lee for my actions a few days ago. I should have talked with Jae before I sent a tweet about him that put his career at risk. I made a critical mistake and I am profoundly sorry. I will do what I can to repair this with Jae, and I will do better in the future. I'm not going to offer explanations because they sound like excuses. And I'm not asking for forgiveness or understanding. I'm just saying I see what I did, and I'm going to try to make up for it. Thank you. And never do you say you're sorry, actually. Anyways, I don't. I have kept up the tweets up to this point in order to show that I was not hiding my actions. I will now take them down. Okay, so this is kind of a legally crafted tweet in a way. So Tom King drugged the company into an accusation that a group of customers is a hate group. As far as I know, Comicsgate is not an official group. It's I get accused of being Comicsgate, but I've never actually said the words "I am Comicsgate." It's a very strange movement in a way where a certain group of people, in the case of Tom King, did this exactly. They look at somebody they don't like for any reason they want to, and they call you Comicsgate, and they call you a hate group trying to demonize you. The big issue here going forward, and I feel like DC probably leaned on Tom on this, and this does seem like a legally crafted, whether by its Tom King's lawyers or DC for bringing in some legal advice was put into this. It just reeks of it. Tom King there. So here's the deal in the standing. Nobody knows how this will affect Jae Lee's future. So somebody will say, "Well, Shane, I see this cover over here. That means Jae Lee's comic career is fine." No, this went across the board. Every editor that thinks of hiring Jae Lee for something, now this shit comes up, the shit that you made, and it will have an effect on him. And you're talking about a peer of 30 years. He was in comics way before you. I don't know, what are you, 6 years or so in comics? He's been in comics for 30 years. Jae Lee's, even per year, he probably spends more time hunched over a table working. There's just more man hours put into drawing a piece of comic artwork. This was a disrespect of just human hours spent doing something, to make a comic book. And you're a writer. It does not take that long to write a page. Of course, doing the synopsis, editorial improvement, plot layout, tightening the script up, changing things for continuity, all those things take time. But I sure as shit, nobody can convince me it takes longer to write a comic than it does to draw a comic book. This was a situation where a writer publicly drugged an artist in the street. Now, how does that, he's a freelance artist. This means, he gets to work and feed himself, feed his family whenever the phone rings. So every month going forward for the rest of Jae Lee's career, if his phone doesn't ring, is it because of what Tom King did? We don't know. Jae Lee will never know, actually. That will haunt Jae Lee the rest of its life. If there's a slow month, does it track back to this? And he'll have to find peace with that for the rest of his career. Okay, that will always be in the back of his head. That will actually always be in the public's mind. Because him having a job is sometimes up to the prejudice of the publisher, and not even the publisher, but editors themselves. So when you make these bold statements that are untrue, calling something a hate group that clearly isn't, where does this go? How did this affect Jae Lee? You know, is your justification for this? Oh, well, he'd done a cyber fraud cover. Well, he'd done a cyber fraud cover before, and the cyber fraud cover was just a freelance job that paid him the same, if not even better, than maybe a Marvel or DC cover. Okay, like, we're not in the world where you can judge somebody and accuse somebody of something just for being close to, okay, just by standing next to somebody, okay, like, or being associated with because you took money from them for work. Okay, like, I may stand in line at McDonald's with somebody waiting for to place an order. That doesn't mean everybody I'm standing next to, we share the same beliefs or anything like that. This is a very I don't know. It's like a witch hunt. I don't have the terms for it, but it's a bad ideology to practice, and it's very unprofessional. I came into this industry when a lot of people respected their peers. Okay, that didn't mean you liked them, but you showed respect for peers. Okay, that was just a thing. You understood that they put in the time, they put in the work. Whether I like the work or not is a different thing, but there was a mutual respect for just peers in comics. Okay, now if he was a writer and maybe you guys were competitive over a character or a job, I maybe could understand this, but he was an artist. Okay, and if you're a comic book writer, you are in comics, you are able to be printed in a comic because somebody was conned into drawing your pages, whether it was through money or interest or love for the character. Okay, you are not a comic writer without artists to draw your comic, or you learn to draw, Tom King. I don't know, but don't publicly drag artists. There's no reason for that, because your career is based off of people drawing pages, drawing artwork. Why would you ever attack artists in your position? What benefit was it? And I want to point this out too. The big loser in all this was actually probably the San Diego at home con this weekend. There were tons of books that were announced this weekend that nobody knows about because of this, because you did this before the con. I mean, I'm sure DC's not too happy that nobody's talking about Endless Winter because they were too busy talking about, Jae Lee being Comicsgate, which isn't true. Jae Lee being part of a hate group, which isn't true. There's no evidence that Comicsgate is a hate group. Actually, this looks more hateful. Executing an artist publicly, writers against artists, that looks more hateful. Okay, so like the big losers in all of this, I have to say, is if anybody was hanging on to an announcement this weekend that wanted to get the word out about a new publishing initiative that was coming out for retailers opening back up at the end of COVID and all of this, those are the real losers in this. Other, of course, Jae Lee, who always will have to wonder for the rest of his life. And that's not even to talk about Jae Lee losing a day of mourning with his wife over their dog. Okay? And I'm not even going to get into the whole dog post you have yourself, King. I don't know if that was a dig at Jae Lee or not. I'm not here to assume things like other people are on the internet, that things are hate groups. I may not have the information to speak on it. So I'm not going to speak on it. And if I did, I would talk to you privately about it, not publicly. But this is the thing also I want to point out. And, Jae Lee, everybody talks about representation and diversity in comics. Jae Lee is a Korean-American comic book artist who has been working in comics for 30 years. And nobody in your virtuous standing of self-proclaimed virtuous standing of a group against Comicsgate ever looked before you did this and said, hey, am I lopping the head off publicly executing a creator of Korean heritage that has 30 years worth of work in the industry? I mean, there's a lot here. The whole thing to me has just been a disappointing, nothing but pure disappointing state of the industry. That's all it is. I mean, the lack of respect for peers, the lack of respect for customers, calling customers a hate group. These are people that buy books, and you're calling them a hate group. You're calling them racist. Okay? Their career. I'm doing a book with my wife. She's Singaporean, has immigrated to America. Okay, we're not part of a hate group, but people attack us like we're part of a hate group. She is writing it. I am drawing it. That is the book, Starlight Cats. We're doing it, and the lead character is a Singaporean girl with 4 cats. Anyways, guys, I don't know what you guys think about it. I'm personally right now working on a book with my wife, who's Singaporean, who immigrated to America, about a Singaporean girl with 4 cats. We have been attacked this weekend saying that we're part of a hate group. Okay, just by people we choose to associate with. Okay, like the logic of just labeling people a hate group, which is no group, there is no membership, there is no way to exit. Okay, there's no way to enter. It is just a label that people put on you. And this happened, and everybody should take note that this is the prime example. Okay, Tom King at DC Comics did that. He labeled somebody something, and then he's having to retract it. Okay, and anybody that wants to come at people and just label the things and try to denounce them of work, to denounce them of credibility of their career, you should really, really take a long look at this situation. Okay, because there could be legal issues with it. Okay, we don't know. I don't know what Jae Lee's done. I don't know what DC's done. I don't know what Tom King's done. And I'm not the asshole to presume I know things I don't and talk about it on the internet. And I don't think anybody else should too, but you should take heed and warning that maybe this is not the right road to go down. Okay, maybe focus on making a better comic. Focus on better interaction with your customers. Focus about treating your peers better. Focus about treating your customers better. Okay, focus on work, not internet takedowns. You know, don't harm other people by sucking all the oxygen out of the room on any type of comic press. Okay, the Home at Con San Diego thing was a huge failure this year as far as getting the word out. And in the midst of COVID and everything, it was a great opportunity for comic books for the first time to be front row and center of San Diego Comic Con in years. And it did not happen this weekend. And that's the one thing nobody's talking about, is how this took all the attention this weekend. And it's a goddamn shame. Support maybe indie comics. Support the creators you want. Respect the fans. That's it. That respect the characters. There's not a lot. It's a very simple list of things to do. I don't really have a lot to say besides I'm disappointed in the situation. I never expected a good outcome of this. I didn't speak about it because I expected something like this would happen, though. This is I don't know. It's disappointing that this is the industry we're in. It's disappointing that these are the people in the industry that we dub top creators, that we follow on Twitter, that we watch every word they type, and that then it matters. We gave these people that power. Okay. In a lot of ways, I don't blame Tom King. I don't. Even though I don't say anything he's done in this situation is correct. You know, who made him think that he could even do things like this? Who gave him that type of energy to say, you have the power to just go execute artists you don't like? Because not something they did for you, but something they did for somebody else. Like, where are we at in making comics today? Like, what are we doing? I mean, this isn't the industry I got into. This isn't something I wanted to be a part of when I was 13 years old, and I strive to most of my life. This is crazy. This is crazy town. Okay, and I don't know. Is it people boarded up? Is it people looking for likes? Social media chasing? What is it? You know. But at some point in time, there are certain things that should be handled by the companies on social media, not by creators. For legal reasons, as in this one, of course. But I don't know. What's the answers? You guys tell me in the comments. I want to do more on the channel. Hit like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. It helps the channel out. I do mainly live streams with other people, but I'll do more videos if you guys are interested in that. We're gonna show the cover for Starlight Cats this weekend or this week. So sign up for our newsletter. It's gonna be in the description below. I don't know. You guys really let me know what you think on this whole thing. Now that it's played out, I mean, now it's a real time to actually say, what do I think about this? Anyways, you guys take care, and I'll see you next time.